Hello world, good day and good game to you all. Did you know that sockets are related to an element? The moment I realized the relation and categories of mutant cells, it became a lot simpler to choose the best for any build. I want to show you how easy those things are, and I wish the game would support this view in the cells a little bit. All mutant cells can be put into categories like the socket type or the elements that they are made for. Look at this overview for example, those are the first 13 mutant cells we will talk about. Yes, this simple thing covers almost half of the cells already. Let's look at them one by one. For example, you know mutant cells like chill adaption, fire cohesion and toxic vulnerability, and there is also chill vulnerability, toxic adaption, electric adaption and many more. And do you see it already? If not, then here are all of them. Now look at their socket please. All the chill mutant cells have a cerulean socket. The fire cells all have an almandine socket. Non-attribute is malachite, toxic cells are xanthic, and electric mutant cells are rutile. Each socket type is related to one element. You may know similar relations already from weapons and Descendant modules. And those mutant cells exist as Adaption, which gives you resistance against an element. Cohesion cells stacks your power when you defeat an enemy. Vulnerability cells give you flat base skill power just for attacking an enemy. That's very simple. Nice, now you know half of the cells already within seconds. But there are no non-attribute adaption cells because you as a player cannot have non-attribute resistance of course. And non-attribute vulnerability also cannot exist, but that is not the only rule for the cells, there is another. As you know, the tree is divided into 4 sections: weapon damage, skill power, shield and health. Each of those sections have their own socket now. And one rule for those sockets is the skill socket is always the same as the element that your Descendant uses. For example, fire Descendants like Blair, Serena and others all have an almandine socket up there. Toxic Descendants like Freyna and Keelan have a xanthic socket there. And so on and so forth, you get the idea. That was important to show you this curiosity here. The tuning cells. The tuning mutant cells form another big category which divides the cells into archetypes like fusion, singular, tech and dimension. It does not look like it, but this list already has all possible combinations of archetypes. And it has an obvious gap in the fire part of the list. There is no tuning cell for almandine sockets, so what does that mean for our fire Descendants? We have already seen that all fire Descendants have an almandine socket up here in the skill corner. That means as a fire Descendant you must travel to one of the other sockets to use the tuning cells. And if your Descendant is already strong, really strong, and you just need less skill cost or skill effect range, then you have to travel all across the tree. And traveling all across the Arche tree for a bit more range is not very nice. Let's put the other cells in categories too. First, let's make a shield category. You get a buff when your shield is above 50%. The Arche Overheat shield increases your skill critical damage, but you need an almandine socket for that. Let me show you that for each Descendant now, and I hope I got them all correct. Here they are. So, who is the Descendant that can make use of shield and has an almandine socket in the right corner? Only Haley and Sharon are down there. Well, Sharon sounds nice with the right Transcendent module, but don't forget that she also consumes shields, so staying above 50% can be hard. Haley has the super cool Kuiper rounds, which recover your shield, and with Last Stand you can make more damage using shield. This means you may be in the bottom left corner of the tree already and could make use of Arche Overheat shield. Let's try the other shield cell, the Shield Enhanced Arche, which gives you base skill power. Here is the overview where the Descendants have a xanthic socket. Now we have some matches. Kyle is totally someone who makes use of a lot of shield. Eugen can be someone with a lot of shield too. Ajax with body enhancement is a pure shield Descendant and a good support by healing the shield of others. They are all good candidates for the mutant cell. But the Shield Enhanced Arche seems pretty useless when you see the next category. The efficient enhancement cells contain one really good cell for most Descendants. The Arche efficiency enhancement cell gives base skill power and it stacks even more with every time you hit an enemy. It is xanthic too, so again for Kyle, Eugen and Ajax, and I guess it is a lot easier to just hit the enemy than keeping your shield above 50% all day long. If you look around at the other Descendants, then there are a lot of other good uses. Serena has Xantic Socket in the HP corner, that is where you can get that additional skill power for her. Luna and Enzo has the Xantic Socket in the weapon corner, so they have easy access to that increased skill power. Yep, the Xantic Socket and Arche efficiency enhancement is just in the right spot for the most of us. One of the best mutant cells for all. And there are the enhancement cells. The Battlesuit enhancement needs a Rutile socket, so where is that socket for each Descendant? Battlesuit enhancement increases the defense, so let's have a quick look for the tanky Descendants. Ajax has a Rutile socket down at HP, which is an option. Valby must be funny with lots of damage reduction and defense, but her Xantic socket is at the weapons. Jayba has no Rutile sockets at all, which I do not like. Imagine those undying health turrets. So this cell has some good edge cases where you can use it. Next up is the Neutralization category, and we have two mutant cells in there. The first one is the attack neutralization, which lowers the attack when you hit an enemy at full health. So you must be the first person to hit that enemy before everyone else. For mobbing, there are only a few Descendants who can do that, like Blair, Freyna, Valby, Bunny, Ines and so on. They hit the enemy while it is spawning, which is early enough. That mutant cell needs a cerulean socket, and Bunny has it in the weapon corner, which is kind of nice. Freyna has no cerulean socket, and Valby has it in the shield corner. So this mutant cell is more like for the solo bosser, which want to lower the damage of the boss for 15 seconds. Honestly, that is not very long, and once the enemy is no longer full life, we lose the effect. Sounds like a pretty useless mutant cell to me. But the defense neutralization in the Malachite socket, oh, that has two sides. First of all, every non-attribute Descendant has the Malachite socket in the skill corner. But the defense neutralization cannot lower non-attribute resistances, that does not work. But Glay, oh, she has a big win there. When Glay is at a boss, then this is surely a nice mutant cell to have, if the weapon you're using is also doing some elemental damage. Same for Enzo and Jayba in that corner. Blair has it in the weapon corner, so if you play Ballistic Blair, then this is a nice spot. Haley also in the weapon corner, which can be nice for solo bossing and must also be really good for Serena in that corner of the tree. So that cell has good places and gives good damage. It is one of the best mutant cells, just like the next one. Final Preparations is another Malachite cell, which gives a buff when you attack with a force skill. Same corners as before, and obviously a good thing for all the non-attribute Descendants, especially Valby. At this point I would repeat the Descendants from the previous mutant cell, so keep that cell in mind for those two as another really good damage buff. The defense neutralization was more for solo bossing or special clear speed Descendants, because you have to hit enemies with full life. This mutant cell here, the Final Preparations, is much easier. Just attack with your force skill and get a boost. Way simpler for the casual team play and mobbing. Those were 26 mutant cells already that we looked at, and here is the last one. When you reload, then you get skill critical hit rate if you have an Almendine socket and 30 seconds time. Is that the only cell with a cooldown? Can we just skip that thing? I don't like cooldowns. Well, I guess it is nice for bossing, where you kill the boss in 2 seconds anyway. Almendine is all about fire, so all fire Descendants can benefit from that cell, because they can put it in the socket in the skill corner. Except Blair, because he already has a lot of crit rate built in. But Serena, Asimo and Lepic can easily benefit from this. A shield-based Sharon could use that too. Oh, and going for weapons, then also Ajax, Glay and others. Okay, might be good, but I still don't like buffs with a cooldown. So now you have a brief, structured overview of all the mutant cells for every Descendant. It is very hard to give them a tier, since every Descendant is built different, but we clearly identified some useless ones and found some really good ones along the way. You can find this list as a link in the description below. Any update, new socket or good comment about an useful build will be added to that linked spreadsheet. Another thing this list can show you is which mutant cells are missing. Spoiler alert! Each category obviously has some more potential for new mutant cells coming in some later updates or season 3. There are some gaps to fill, just saying. I hope this overview helped a bit choosing the right cell for you. Let me know if you got some new build idea now. Until then, have a great one, good luck, goodbye.